the people and shit like that. But we gonna be great anyway. We gonna be great anyway. We gonna be great anyway. Cause I don't fuck with that shit. I gotta say what I don't fuck with. And I don't fuck with people that be trying to make me not be great. But we gonna be great anyway. You get what I'm saying? We gonna be great anyway. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to all the people out there, you know, in the Grand Star Nation Association. This is Kelsito, you know, and we gonna do the astrology breakdown tonight. So I'm coming back. I'm spinning back with the alignments and stuff. You know, trying to get some things together and shit. I wanted to do a stream type of a podcast type of stream where it's like, you know, landscape and with the microphone and shit like that. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to that um because of whatever's going on with the computer. The computer kind of tweaking a little bit. But y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how it is. And we gonna wait till y'all flood the, you know, chat and stuff like that. We gonna keep this close by and things. But we gonna break down some alignments and whatnot, because we want to know what's going on in the sky. What's going on in the sky? What's going on in the sky? So, you know, anytime, we get lost in the external, we can always look to what we came from. Anytime we get too lost in the physical, we can always look to what we came from. You know, we came from the stars, and not the stars the way um you know, maybe NASA may talk about it or something like that, but you know, a way of our the way it's built. You know what I'm saying? The influence and being influenced to, you know, actually put your piece of your percentage in these things, in these experiences, and so forth. Let me see if this gonna fuck with me. I don't know if it's gonna fuck with me. I was gonna fuck with me. But shout out to everybody and shit like that. Shout out to everybody. Hold on, let me get my sheet. All right, we got it. We good. All right, so just a few quick little things that I want to talk about tonight. Right, we in a Pisces moon, so there's like a Pisces moon ceremony and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody should be sitting back and react and responding to their beliefs. You know what I'm saying? What they believe is right morally, what they believe isn't right morally, and things of that nature, and what they should have as a status to stand on about that belief and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we dealing with the harder, harsh times, and y'all already saw that video last night with the Capricorn breakdown. The sun is in Capricorn, and yeah, you know how it is. So, time out is Kelsito, the spirit coach, getting you in shape and forward for the age of Aquarius yet again. You're now drinking the wine of Zeus. You're now drinking the wine and you're now hearing the mind of Zeus. So if you're interested in stars, this is the place for you. If you're interested in knowledge, this is the place for you. Okay? Because we always got to look to the stars. My ancestors looked to the stars. My granny looked to the stars. You know what I'm saying? Her granny looked to the stars and we all looking at the star. And so now we can put everything in the right perspective. You know what I'm saying? Bringing the knowledge of the stars down. It's just alignments. So it's just how things is aligning. So you know them things like you be feeling weird and you be like, man, what the fuck what's going on? Like something feel weird, something feel off about the world. What's going on your mind. And you can't see what's going on your mind on an external type shit. So, you know, but there's things that's aligned and shit like that that may be affecting, you know, your mind and shit. You know, just like the seasonal depression. But where did that season come from? You know what I'm saying? Certain seasons make you feel ready to go outside. Springs, certain seasons make you ready to show your ass. Summer, some seasons make you ready to, you know, get your shit together and shit like that, so you can have a place to stay. Fall, some seasons make you separate. You want to be snugged and tugged away. Winter. So these are the alignments and shit. You know what I'm saying? But there's many perspectives within these alignments. You know what I'm saying? And so when we talk about the planets and shit like that, the stars and shit like that, all the planets align each other, and depending on what's aligning and shit, you know what I'm saying, that would make, that's like, it's a it's a angle. That's how you want to see it. It's an angle that you can look at something at. So once you see the different angles and shit like that, you'll know what's going on. All right, let me try to restart this computer because this is going on. You know, and this ain't to say that you're gonna have all the answers. This ain't to say that you're gonna have all the answers, but at least you'll know what's going on. You'll be in the right position to look at your circumstance and be like, oh, this is what's going on, and things. Because instead of like what you are looking at when you look at internal, like what's going on, you seeing something, but you're not seeing it like how you think you should be seeing it. You know what I'm saying? You seeing it, but you seeing it from a perspective of just feeling. Now, bringing that to the stars is, and bringing the angles and the alignments out is basically you seeing the physical writing of that energy, especially somebody that body that can interpret this or bring this out. And so, you know, shout out to everybody that can do that and whatnot. But let's get to it though. Let's get to it. We're gonna get to it. My computer acting a goddamn ass. But we're gonna start with the bigger ones and things, because with the larger alignments and the larger planets is ones that we experience as huger themes. So when you hear me talk about Pluto through Uranus, these are grander themes that the world is going through, and that we may need to give ourselves time to process and to go through. So it's not like these equations get answered overnight or these angles get answered overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's more so that you plan these equations out through a spectrum of time. And once those equations up, whatever your answer was, that's what it was. So for instance, let's just start at the first one. Let's just say the first big thing that we're going through, we got Neptune in a sextile with Pluto. So Neptune is dreams, imaginations, delusions, and the ability to add that to your life, to add some dreams, to add some imagination, right? Now, these is natural things you do every day. You know, you exaggerate about what you don't have, you imagine what you don't have, you know, but that's the energy of Neptune, right? And so Neptune is in Pisces, cause Aries, right? And I talked about that alignment yesterday. So if you want to see that shit, you gotta go see that shit yesterday. But it's a sextiling Pluto and shit. Now, Pluto is the energy of transformation. It's the energy of total rebirth. It's like a death. It's like a refresher. It's like putting shit to dead. It's like almost dead. You can't use it no more. So it's sextiling this planet Neptune. This planet Pluto is sextiling this planet Neptune, right? Now, when these two meet up in a 60-degree angle, it causes a effect. And it's just more so the effect is the angle, right? If you see something in front of you, it gives you a different feeling. Something on the left of you, it gives you that feeling. You know, something in front of you, you like, I can go forward. Something on the side of you or in a square to you, which would be a 90-degree angle, you like, I gotta go. So it's just interpretation of the angles that's going on, or the angles you might be seeing something with, or the angles that you might be getting hit with. And it goes way beyond what I'm saying. I'm only here to do a very lower form of trying to interpret this, because I'm still in a motherfucking body, but I'm doing the best I can type shit. But for the most part, it matters in things, because you will start observing what I'm saying when I'm giving you the alignments and shit like that as something that may be going on in your life, or something that may be going on as a bigger theme. And not only that, we got a whole system of people that know about this, playing into this, controlling this type shit. Well, trying to control this. So all the way down to how they do Saturn and shit like that, because uh, Sun and Saturn, which is Christmas time, and Saturn in general. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we experiencing realism and harshness and shit like that. So a lot of the content is gonna be predicated on that shit. Predicated on status, position, what somebody didn't built, what somebody didn't earned, type shit. And you know, you got to realize social media is utilizing to is used to promote now. You know what I'm saying? It's used to sell and things. It's used to sell certain shit. It's used to sell certain products now. So it's not the same as, as it wasn't when big advertisement wasn't buying into these companies now. So now social media is being utilized for different things. So when you hopping on social media, you're getting sold something. You know what I'm saying? You're getting sold of what is possible. That's what built that feeling of keeping you wanting to come back. So if you're not doing that, then that's what it is. Like, hold on, gotta take a breather too, man. I'll be getting excited on here too, man. Like, this information is important. It can be important to your life and shit like that, and this is it's huge. It's huge. It ain't nothing to take lightly. It ain't nothing to take lightly. So okay, so let's get back to Pluto sextile Neptune and shit like that, and and all the way to being sold to, like I said, when y'all see me come over here and talk about this and shit like that, numbers get manipulated and shit like that because obviously people want to sell. So that's why don't believe no numbers you see. If you see people with a lot of numbers on YouTube and shit like that, that person they selling you that for a reason. You get what I'm saying? They selling you that character, that type of person, that type of way of being to make it acceptable, to make what you doing look like it's not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? If you got lower numbers and stuff like that, you can have the most coded shit in the world, but if you're not aligned in a way where they want to sell you, it's business. So understand that about things too. Like, y'all gotta understand this business and shit like that. Don't be getting depressed about these likes and shit like that. Don't be getting depressed about these numbers and shit like that. Don't be getting depressed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody right now is going through the Saturn Sun reality and shit like that. So if somebody online or something like that promoting something, they're trying to sell you something and shit like that to make they feel better. Don't become nobody else brick. Don't become nobody else stepping stone. You feel me? Now what y'all talking about? W chat? W chat. W chat. W chat. W chat. W chat. Yeah, but the chat ain't talking about nothing. It's just a bunch of bots and shit like that, trolls and and people that be bored and stuff like that. I don't know about y'all. I get frustrated giving my time to things that don't got nothing to do with me. So when I see somebody doing that, I'll be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You got to be extra bored. Like, you got to be extra bored. You got to be extra. Yeah, extra bored. Okay, so like I was saying, but let's get back to Pluto with the sextile to Neptune. All right, so like I said, Pluto gonna bring transformation, right? It's gonna bring death and things of that nature. Now we can see this automatically by Pluto is in what? Pluto is in the planet. Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and it's mixed like a little cuspy with Capricorn. So Pluto and that bringing death and shit like that, obviously it's going to be a death to our associations, because that's what Aquarius rules, and our status and position and the reality of it, right? So this motherfucking dissipates shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what y'all seeing far as all this technology and shit like that. All this no way of going back to the old way you associated. On this no way, on this whole new you. You know what I'm saying? So on this whole new you in society, and you needing to take power and control of your space in that, Pluto is bringing it. That's what's bringing that death factor. That's why you feel like, man, shit is changing on a deeper level in society, and that and our way of doing business is changing. So a lot of people gonna be observing that and being like, man, what the fuck? Right? So we all is in some position where we're trying to take power control over what's good to associate with and what's good to associate with, and what's not good to associate with. And this is going to be putting us in a position where it's like we at this position where it's like we making what was popular uncool, but it's still kind of quote unquote the go to and the know how to go to and shit like that. But it's a struggle, right? And that's what Pluto brings. Pluto brings that struggle, you know what I'm saying, wherever it's at. So whatever sign it's in, that's the energy it's going to bring there. So it's bringing hella struggle and shit like that within the public association, Aquarius and Capricorn, business and status. Now, it is sextiling Neptune here in Pisces, Aries. Okay? So this gives us an opportunity to transform, right? That's that Pluto transformation, putting death to shit. It's giving us the opportunity to transform. The opportunity comes from Neptune, which is the sextile, our belief. It gives us the opportunity to transform what we believe about what we associate with and shit like that, or what we believe about our associations. So a lot of clearness. Belief creates, you know, emotional perception. You know, belief creates an emotional perception that is tied to, you know, experience. So if you got the opportunity to transform or struggle or put depth, that's that Pluto energy, to what you believe about your associations. And so this is what I mean, like the shit that you was associate with, that you believed in, it's like that's that struggle that's happening there. So like I said, you know, it's a new time, but that because of, and what did I say at the beginning of this? The themes that's going on with the outer planets and shit like that, that shit, it feels like a longer time. The When you get to the sun and moon, the closer planets, it's a little bit quicker. You know what I'm saying? Just like the moon move the fastest. You know, so we probably may experience that alignment, you know, or them energies a little bit whoop de whoop. Okay? And I follow along because this is important, you know? But that's one main alignment that we're going through on a grander scale, which is Pluto sextile Neptune. And this is going to be the opportunity to transform what you believe about your association. So all the shit that you associate with, you know, people, places, and things, far as the ideals around them, what it comes with, you kind of seeing like, man, should I conform, or should my belief be like this more expanded belief that I got about this? Should I conform my belief, or should my belief be this more expanded belief I got about this situation and circumstance? And and you're gonna be questioning that. So whatever opportunity you make out of that, or you take, you conform your belief or whatever, that is gonna be what eventually manifests as the cycle continues. You get what I'm saying? So this building your mind. Now, Uranus, Uranus, okay? We talked about Uranus a little bit yesterday, but Uranus is change, is always change. So wherever you put Uranus, there's going to be change. But there's since it's retrograde, it's playing out as kind of unchanging because it's like past things coming. It's like the illusion of past things coming back, right? It's trying Pluto. We just talked about Pluto. Pluto is death. So the trine aspect gives it a gift. It gives it a, it gives it a, it gives it a easy access, right? So when you hear me say trine, that is something having easy access. It's a 120 degree angle on the technical point, but this is what you get, right? I only can break it down, like I said. You know what I'm saying? I only break down what's in the sky as best as I can. You know what I'm saying? To let motherfuckers know what's going on. Okay, so this is the gift to associate with individuals who are stubborn and don't want to have a position in reality. Let that sink in. Now, how many of y'all been experiencing that? Shout out to Drake, yo. How many of y'all been experiencing that? You got a bunch of people that's stubborn that don't want to change. So obviously Uranus is that energy. So, people that may cling to unchanging energy, those are the people that you have a gift to um, associate with right now. So you want to kind of protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? You kind of don't want to associate with people that don't want to change. Even if that's changing things about yourself. You want to be in a position where um, you can associate, well, you could be in a position where you can associate with unchanging habits, or unchanging mind themes, or unchanging thoughts about shit, or unchanging values and shit like that. So um, that could be even old job circumstances coming back. You know what I'm saying? That's showing you that you need to change a little bit more, even if it come in an area of where it's frustrating you or something like that. Is at least reminding you of, okay, you got to get on your shit a little bit more. You got to get on your shit. So, you got to change some circumstances. So Uranus, that trine with Pluto, is the gift to associate with individuals or individuality that is stubborn and don't want you to have a position in reality. All right. So that's the gift you got. So you can take that gift and you can have that position, of unchanging, and it's gonna look sweet. It can look sweet. It can look like something that you really, my computer backups. That's what. That's what's up. Cool. That's cool. Yeah. So we got Uranus trine Pluto. So let me break this down again because I felt like I kind of rushed through that. So we got Uranus trine Pluto. Uranus is change, innovation, individuality, and rebelliousness. So it's going to be in the sign of Taurus, a little bit cussed with Gemini. So that is going to bring a bunch of individuality to our own valuable, to not even just our own, but others, because it's mixed with Gemini a little bit. So I would say others' values. It's going to bring a lot of innovation, a lot of rebelliousness, a lot of individuality and shit like that, a lot of uniqueness and shit like that. That don't mean that's good. That could be negative. You know what I'm saying? Uniqueness can be good for the most part when it's unique. It's like, oh, okay, this is unique and like this could be utilized and show us how to change. That's the good part. But it's also rebellious. So people around you right now may be rebellious towards you. You know what I'm saying? Your individuality, your ideas, and shit like that. Your friends, don't take it personal right now. But for the most part, the people around you is likely going to be bringing out some old type of rebellious energy. Just because you know Gemini affects the surroundings, right? Gemini is the surroundings, and Uranus is there, and the energy of that is playing through the 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 dimensions and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Through it's through a lot. It's through numbers. It's through signs, people, sigils, and shit like that. But for the most part, we ain't gonna really call it too much and shit like that. The spirit move in unique ways. But Uranus, so it's gonna make it seem like everybody around you is just nobody want to come together. So if you feeling like nobody around you want to come together on things and everybody just being rebellious and shit like that, that's why. Uranus and motherfucking Gemini, Taurus. So everybody individual about their values, even if we friends. Even if we friends. Even if we friends, we still don't give a fuck about what each other got going on right now and shit like that. We're trying to change something for us. And so that's how. So that's just what it is right now. It can seem like that. It can seem like nobody want to stick together. So with that being said, the trine is with Pluto and shit like that. So we may have the gift to put a bit of motherfucking transformation to this. We're gonna see like this. We're gonna see that this transformation between Uranus and Pluto is going to put us in a position where, since Uranus is retrograde, the change that everybody, I mean, the individuality and the rebelliousness that all your friends playing out and shit like that, you got the gift to associate with individuals who are stubborn. So you got, it's just like everybody around somebody that's stubborn right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to seem like they don't want a position within reality because the struggle is going to be with Pluto there in Aquarius. So it's like everybody just like, man, nobody want a motherfucking position in reality and shit like that. So we just feel like we just kind of stuck. We don't know how to change it right now. And shit like that. We letting it do what it's do. But for the most part, what we are going to see, once this big ass alignment clear up, is that the people who did want to change and and depending on their percentage level, if they went far with that rebelliousness, right? They could go far with that rebelliousness to the point where they could be crashing out on you and being like, man, fuck your shit, and then miss their train when you blow up or something like that. But the thing is, right now, you not going to know if you doing what you doing is right because it's based upon individuality. It's based upon you being unique. It's based upon your individual surroundings and what you tell and what you say, what you got going on right now. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, we're going to expand on Uranus too. All right. So Uranus is also in a sextile with Neptune. Let's confirm that. Let me confirm that with this site real quick. Okay. So Uranus is also in a sextile with Neptune. And this is going to be another opportunity, because anytime you hear me say sextile, it's opportunity. So there's opportunities to surround yourself with others that value delusions. So everybody valuing their own dreams right now. Everybody valuing their own delusions right now, and shit like that. And ain't nothing wrong with a delusion, but some delusions come with, a certain sense of um learning. I want to say that it comes with a sense of learning, right? You learn about what a delusion is, so you can learn about certain things, right? Certain imaginations, but neither more. Let's restart. So it's opportunities to surround yourself with others. There go that. Surrounding yourself with individuals right now. Uranus and Gemini, aka everybody around us, is on their own time, type shit. What others that value their own delusions that they passionate about. Okay, because it's cussed with Aries too, so they're gonna be passionate about these motherfucking dreams and delusions, or frustrated about them. You're gonna see it on their motherfucking expressions and shit like that, whatever. Or you're gonna see how they using this. You're gonna see how they using it for war, or passion, or trying to get ahead energy, um, and they don't want to change it. AKA that's that Uranus retrograde. They don't give a fuck about changing it. They're gonna give a fuck about change. So you gonna feel like the world. You can feel like the world is against you for real. Like damn, don't nobody want to fucking change and shit like that. So you know you need to protect your spirit a little bit. And don't let too much affect you and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta make sure you got sufficient armor for the mental war. So y'all see now y'all see as we get into these angles and shit how this play out in y'all life too. Don't y'all see that? Gotta see it. You gotta see it. You know what I'm saying? So this is getting more into the mind, and this is more because what we experience it mentally and things, but we can't see. We experience it. It may come through people, places, and things, but this is the experience. We're digging into what we can't see. Okay. All right. So remember that people don't want to change right now. You know, now if you do got somebody that's wise enough, that's a partner that's around you, that's willing to go through changes and shit like that, that will be the person that you can realize and click up with. Like, okay, this person's smart and shit like that. This person see that whatever these old outdated things is, they just old and outdated. And this person is just being rebellious because they don't want to change type shit. You know, and that would be a person you can click up and where y'all can be in the imagination together of, or the learning together of whatever y'all realizing that that's a dream, and that's the space you want to be in with your community, that realizing whatever these motherfuckers is doing is a motherfucking delusion and shit like that. And once that delusion is up, it's gonna be a time. You always gotta face reality. Always gotta face reality. Okay, let's move on. Speaking of reality, now let's go to Saturn. Right? Let's go to Saturn. All right, so we got Saturn conjunct with Neptune. Now, Saturn is structure, reality, grounding shit. You know what I'm saying? Putting shit on routine, putting shit structured and making sure shit is making sense and things of that nature. It's going to be conjunct with something that doesn't make sense at all, which is um, Neptune. And Neptune brings a lot of dreams, imaginations, and shit like that. So we could have emotion, we could be emotional, right? Because since this is in Pisces, the water sign, both of these signs, Saturn and Neptune, is both sharing Pisces right now and shit like that. So, we got a bunch of emotional, learning about reality and, you know, um, what people don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying? And, emotional learning about business. And we got a lot of emotional enlightenment about what we've been in as far as beliefs and imaginations and shit like that. Or what is this delusion, or what is this imagination, or this broad imagination that we sharing amongst everybody, and why is it going this way? Obviously, a lot of y'all smart, a lot of y'all been picking up on shit, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all know a lot of this shit is fugazi. But for the most part, since we are addicted to the slot machine, social media, and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? We allow ourselves to mentally get affected and things. So the best people that can sell on that is the people that's going to be able to do whatever ritual and spell, or whatever action that's suitable for that slot machine winning or whatever. So that's the fake version of winning. They may actually look like they're winning or something like that, but you might not. If you knew these people in their life, they might not be shit. You get what I'm saying? So understand that. Understand what delusion. So this is emotional or in disbelief about if others take your personal dreams serious or not. Let that sink in. So you can be emotional right now about if others take your personal dreams serious or not. Saturn, serious. Okay, dreams, Neptune, personal, Aries, Cusp, Pisces, emotional. So you can be emotional about if others take your personal dreams as serious or not. All right, sure. Now, or you can be in disbelief too. So that's another thing. So you can like restrict belief, and you know what I'm saying, because it's gonna be you're gonna be restricting. You're gonna be either guarded in that area of whatever you got is sufficient enough for others to take your shit serious, or you gonna be in disbelief and shit like that if others take your shit serious. But the thing is, regardless, you're gonna be emotional about it. You're gonna be fucking emotional about it. Okay? Why nobody taking me serious? Why nobody taking my dreams motherfucking serious? Why nobody taking what I want to do and shit like that? Well, it ain't about that. So, okay, so check this out. So, Saturn, wherever you got Saturn at, it's going to bring time, you know? It's going to bring patience. And that's what it takes. It takes the baby steps. You know what I'm saying? It takes, you getting hit with storms. If you building a building and shit like that, look, the geostorm don't fucking care if it's gonna come and rain on your motherfucking parade. You know what I'm saying? If it's gonna rain the next day and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't care if the motherfucking world take your shit serious if you want to actually build a building or something like that. You know, you gotta pick the best time and shit like that. You know, aka when it's not so rainy. Don't be trying to build in no motherfucking rainy, on a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? Sit your ass down a little bit. Wait till it stop raining a little bit. AKA give it time. So this is what Siren. Take your time with your dream. Take your time with your imagination. But, with that Pisces filter on there, and that Aries filter on there, we could be emotional or in disbelief about that if others takes our dreams serious or not. And shit like that. So, just keep that in mind. Saturn is working. Saturn is giving time. I'm saying you gotta know how to put shit on schedule and thing. You gotta know when no is no, or when too much has been. When you gotta add more, or when you gotta add less. Well, there ain't no such thing. Or when you gotta take away. When you take away shit. But since Pisces likes to experience a sense of freedom and shit like that, that would add that you know adrenaline for somebody to want to feel free and what they're giving their time to, or what they, it just adds a bit of free energy. It adds a bit of Oh, I want to experience this dream, or I want to experience this La La Land. But that's the thing. When it's conjunct with Saturn, it's reality. It's reality. All right, moving on. Moving on. We got Saturn in Pisces, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So this is an opportunity in Taurus Gemini. Okay, and Saturn got that. So these is like cuspy signs and shit. We got cuspy energies, as far as like the signs being in two signs at once. Between the degrees of 28 and 3. But this is going to be an opportunity to develop belief system of others who want to change their values or keep it the same. So you can so focus. This is a lot about you and others being not shit. I'm finna tell you that right now. This is a time of you realizing others ain't shit. So there's opportunity to develop a belief system of others who want to change their values or keep it the same and shit like that. So who want to change their value system? And that's where it start. You know what I'm saying? Before you go get motivated to go get up and go do something, you start looking into your values, man. I don't like this circumstance. I don't like this situation. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you in that space, then you develop the energy to go do something about it. If you're not doing nothing, you just probably just waiting for, Jesus to come back and give you a job or something like that. And I'm finna tell you that right now. It's a lot of people that did that ain't work for. It's a lot of people that did that ain't work for. All right. But you should be developing your belief system and shit like that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because Saturn is working to give you the opportunity to change and shit like that. It's gonna take time though. But for the most part, you got to see what you don't like and what you do like and what you don't value. And likely what you don't value will come from others around you right now. So you got the opportunity to develop their belief system of and how they think about change and shit like that. And I'm finna tell you, a lot of people ain't thinking about no goddamn change. You know what I'm saying? They're changing their motherfucking circumstance or changing their motherfucking life or changing something in a direction. Give it time, Saturn, boom. Let's move on. Let's move on. Give it time. Give it time. Give it restriction. Give what you want more energy. You know what I'm saying? If you want change, give that more energy. Okay, the people, places, and things that look like that, thoughts and feelings, start expressing them things, start acting towards them things, type shit, you know? And only when you create it, it manifests. Okay? All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I can't see this picture right now, but I think I got set a nice picture. Jupiter trine Neptune. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Jupiter trying. Let's talk about Jupiter, right? Because we did Neptune. We talked about Pluto, which is transformation. We talked about Neptune, which is your dreams and your imaginations. We talked about Uranus, which is your individuality and change it. And they're being retrograde right now. And that's the reason that don't nobody look like they actually want to change. And you know what I'm saying? We actually scoping out who want to change and who don't want to change and shit like that. And shit, are we going to change? Because nobody else want to change. Is it better to not change with these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody questioning right now. But still, let's go. Jupiter, once we get into the conversation of Jupiter, right? This is a whole different chakra, a whole different wheel of understanding and knowledge, aka this is the expansion wheel, the wheel to expand, the wheel to experience and shit like that. So a lot of running away comes with Jupiter, aka you got if you got Pisces or Sagittarius, that's why y'all ready to go, ready to run away, ready to travel, ready to expand. Or if you wherever you got Jupiter in your sign, that's where you may be ready to run from and shit like that. Ready, but this is where you actually gotta do the most growing. You actually gotta do the most learning and shit like that. So, for the most part, or the most expansion, for the most part, Jupiter has been in Cancer for the whole year, and it's retrograde right now too. So, like I had said the other day, right? Like I said the other day, um, God damn, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Where did I put that? Oh, that's not that. Oh yeah. So yeah, we were learning about your emotional connection to home and comfort zones and shit like that. So Jupiter is expansion, knowledge, meanings, and reasonings. So there's gonna be a lot of wanting to be more freer in your comfort zone, wanting to be more freer in your comfortability and shit like that, wanting to be more freer in a way you in your home or your family and your circumstances. You may be looking at the faith and the experiences and relearning about the experiences of your home and your circumstances and why you're not free and why you trapped and why and what you didn't have and stuff like that. So you relearning about that. You relearning about your emotional connection to your home, your family, the shit that you was too comfortable with, all type of shit, and expanding on that on a more internal level and shit, trying to get more wise about that, aka Jupiter, right? Wise about the world you in, the moon, the aka the ruler of Cancer. So let's break that shit down first before we get anywhere else. All right, all right, all right. So Jupiter is gonna try Neptune. We talked about Neptune. I'm not gonna break that down again. You're gonna have to rewind if you want to know what Neptune is. Jupiter is trine Neptune. Now, why is it a trine? Right? Because this creates a 120-degree angle. Jupiter is angled in Cancer. You know, and shout out to Drakeo. Let's just use this. This is where Jupiter is at in Pisces, right? And this is where Neptune is at in Pisces. I mean, Jupiter is in Cancer, my bad, right here. So Jupiter is in Cancer. So it'll create a 120-degree angle depending on where the alignment is at. Now, shout out to Drakeo too for making that. Y'all make sure y'all motherfucking tap in with Drakeo if y'all want what else. So, automatically this could be getting too comfortable with experiencing a past belief system, right? Jupiter is what we're gonna be experiencing. Comfort. In Cancer, the gift to experience what? A belief system. Neptune, a personal belief system. So that could be personal doubts. That could be personal beliefs about yourself. That could be your personal self-esteem. That could be your personal bullshit. That could be your personal mentality, personal belief system. If you don't have a strong belief system, this is like the return. This is like the return of your ex in a motherfucking form of a ghost. It's like the return of your ex that called you, that said you wasn't shit, in a return of a motherfucking ghoul or something, or a spirit or imagination. I'm telling y'all, it get that deep. So this is you got the gift to experience that shit. It's emotional. So it's not gonna be physical. It's not gonna be something you can see. It's not gonna be something, it could be something on your mind because it's gonna weigh on your mind based upon the thoughts that you develop into emotions and shit like that. But this gonna be like the return of the Grim Reaper in some of y'all motherfucking lives. So you're gonna be getting too comfortable with experiencing your past situations about what you believe, about what you believed, about what you couldn't do, or what you believe you could do. You know what I'm saying? So whether whether you know, you would think, oh, how do I how do I know what I can do? Well, you don't know if you can what you could do if you're not doing it. You get what I'm saying? So it's only if you put yourself in a position of doing it, then you can experience, you getting comfortable with your belief. Oh, I can do that, right? I can think that way. I can feel that way. But if you're not in that mind frame, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry to that man. You know, but this past delusion is going to sweep back, you know, in an area filtering through your home, your family, what you experienced in there, and shit like that, and the imaginations and the delusions. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's move on. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time. Time is precious. Okay? Okay? One thing about time, time is precious. And there's two people in the world, people that utilize the time and people that don't utilize it. All right? Now, Jupiter, we own Jupiter right now. Okay? Actually on the planet Jupiter. All right? So Jupiter. So before you get lost into planets and thinking they're real things or whatever. No, what y'all see in the sky is just trackers and shit like that. But they're just planes of existence. Okay? If we all exist on these certain planes, and these planes correlate to certain organs and shit like that. That's why when you be in the Venus chakra, you get inspired. You be in the Mars chakra, you get horny. You know what I'm saying? You be in the motherfucking Mercury chakra, you want to communicate. You know what I'm saying? You be in the Jupiter chakra, you want to teach, or you want to learn, or you want to feel a little bit free. Like, and these all work together to create your system, your solar system, a system for your soul. Right? But moving on. Jupiter is trine Saturn right now. Jupiter is trine Saturn right now. So this is the gift to to get comfortable with experiencing past limitations and belief systems. So yeah, this is a whole bunch of things that's fucking with y'all right now. It's a big ass ghost in the sky right now. It's a big ass ghost in the sky coming back through your home, your family, and shit like that, and get you too comfortable with your systems giving you cause. So don't accept them. Don't accept them if they ain't good. But if you do got a belief system that you should be getting comfortable with, like one that has imagination, that you can get out your circumstance, you can do something about something and stuff like that, you can know what you need to know for the next step. That's the good one. But if it ain't that, don't do that. Don't put yourself in that position. All right. Okay, position Saturn. Jupiter is trine Saturn, so we got the gift to experience a certain stat, uh, a certain blockage or a certain boundary. You know what I'm saying? And that limitation could be a past belief system that was personal to us, personal insecurity, because it's Saturn is in Pisces as well too, with Aries a little cuss there. So understand that. Now, uh, oh, this alignment has left the building, so we're gonna document that. We're gonna document that. This alignment has left the building. All right. Let's move on, y'all. We done with Jupiter. Those are the only things that we got with Jupiter, y'all. That's the only thing we got with Jupiter. That's the only thing we got with Saturn. That's the only thing we got with Pluto and shit like that. So let's move on. After that, we got Mars. Oh, we don't really have anything prominent with Mars, but we're gonna move to the Venus alignments because I see Mars and Venus. Now Mars is conjunct Venus too. Okay, y'all. Mars is conjunct Venus. So yeah, I guess we could do Mars conjunct Venus first. All right. So because our Venus, all right, Venus brings a sense of love and appreciating and shit like that, and value and or relativeness, and obviously that's gonna be in Capricorn. So we gotta appreciate. We're being forced to kind of appreciate our career or harsh shit. You know what I'm saying? Harsh times or reality of Capricorn type of shit. You know, business, how we ground ourselves, the status we in, the position we in, even if it's negative. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's, you know, so that can bring a dichotomy in its own, because for the most part you can, if you a negative person, you can appreciate the step. Like, you know, you could be like, well, this all I got, or this all you got, or just shut the fuck up, and that's what all and that and that and that. Or you could be a person that can appreciate the hard time because it's what you need for, you know, for you to go forward. So it's gonna be a lot of appreciating hard times right now. You know, you know, and even if you don't like it, like I gotta appreciate this shit, even if I don't like it. God damn, I gotta appreciate this monkey, this monkey. I don't know why I thought somebody thinking somebody a monkey. That's what I think. Somebody think one of y'all thinking somebody a monkey. But yeah, so you're gonna be in a relationship with your passions, building and status, um, or you're gonna be in a relationship with your passions. Hold on, I think I just read that way too motherfucking fast. Let me rewind that. So you're gonna be in a relationship with your passions, with career building and status, or you can be in a relationship with your frustrations. You know, when it comes to your career building and status, you know, you may feel a little bit both and things of that nature. But you know, when it comes to Capricorn kind of trying to teach you the harsh realities and shit like that. AKA not to be too much emotional, but time to get to business. You know what I'm saying? Time to step on shit. Time to take ground and shit like that. That's what it's kind of putting you in a position to learn. When we talked about that yesterday too. Okay, so now let's do Venus square Saturn. So this is another things that we're learning to love. Something else that we learning to appreciate. We learning to appreciate a lot of Saturn qualities. So we learning if what you believe about reality is worth building on and shit like that. So where the learning is gonna come is Venus going square at a 90-degree angle Saturn, um, and you know what's gonna be bring the learning about our beliefs is going to be, or our personal beliefs, learning if our personal beliefs is how we feel about them. So you may learn your feelings could influence what you think about is worth building on or not. So your feelings is very important right now, just based upon them other alignments that I broke down earlier. Your feelings is very important right now. What you believe about your personal self, your personal abilities, and shit like that, and really how you can get out your negative situation. A lot of how you can tap into that right now is imagination, because that's where Neptune is going to be. So Neptune is giving you like a little head start. You know, anytime you hop into your creativity, your imagination, that uplift your emotional state right now, boom, you're going to tap into that energy of Aries right here. I'm finished. You're going to tap into this energy right here. This Aries cause Pisces, there at that 29 degree, and that's going to give you uh, the inspiration and things. So, but you at first, if that's not your natural energy, if you don't have that energy natural, your first thing could be to question that. You know what I'm saying? Is it worth doing this, or is it worth building on this and shit like that? And you won't know until you set it up, type shit. So that's the type of things that, you know, will be going on with that Venus square Saturn alignment. Is y'all following W's in the chat? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment, and all of them goddamn things. Make sure y'all turn my likes up. All right. All right, let's move on. Venus is no longer in conjunction that sign, so let's mark that out. So one thing that can keep us busy right now too is our personal beliefs. Now, the thing is, the access for that might not be as easy to do. You know, you may have to, it may be a circumstance where you may have to put yourself to the test. Like, that's the only way you can be protected far as like your love matters right now. And this is big too, because, Venus Day is today too. So this is kind of like huge and stuff like that. So always on the days of the week when it's the planetary day, you know what I'm saying, with the planet match the day of the week and shit like that. For instance, Venus Day Friday, you got Saturday, Saturn's Day, you got Moon Day Monday, Tuesday, Mars is Mars Day and shit like that. Y'all get what I'm saying? That energy of that planet likely is gonna be a little bit more prominent based upon all of us what we're doing mentally and type shit and what we agreed upon. So so being busy right now with your own personal, you know, values and shit like that and the things that you appreciate uh could put you to the test if you, to see if you're learning what you appreciate about your motherfucking beliefs right now. Because like I said, everybody dealing with their beliefs a little hard right now. It's hard because we're going through this new birth, you know what I'm saying, with what we believe about, our circumstance and shit like that. But it's filtered through. It's filtered through a little bit of Aries, so we got a little bit of fire. Like we feel like we could, but it's mainly Pisces, so it's engulfed in a bunch of water still and shit like that. So it's like that little spark out the water, but it's like it's just a struggle type shit. We can't get really our beliefs out where we want to be. You know what I'm saying? We're still struggling type shit, still drowning in an esoteric field and shit like the retrograde areas in the mind with Pisces. But we're trying to spark that. Now, what can help that is, you got to go through hard shit. You got to learn shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn if you really do that. So if that's what this would be like sacrificing. So yeah, you know, if you want that thing, you got to sacrifice it. That you got to sacrifice this. That would be what you would be learning about, far as if you appreciate your dreams or not, type shit. So that's the best way I can explain it to you. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. I think we covered all that. I think we covered all that. Now, this is what's going on in the sky, y'all. This is what's going on in the mind. Let's go to Mercury. Mercury. So Mercury is always going to be tied to the information that we get in, or where we want to be mentally, or the idea of how we want to be and shit like that. Yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so Mercury is in Sagittarius. So yeah, we're expanding out of a way of thinking. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. So we need to get out of this old way of thinking and shit like that. We're getting out of these old ways of thinking and shit like that. Because we know where we've been mentally. You know, we know where we've been before mentally. We know where we don't want to go back. So the only way we want to go is forward, right? So that's why we're getting out of these old ways of thinking. And so your idea of communicating, or how you think about yourself, that's your whole mental aura. You don't like that way of thinking about yourself. You're tired of thinking that way about yourself. You're tired of seeing that when you look at that cloud or that idea or that vision and shit like that. You tired of that shit. You tired of thinking these thoughts. You feel like you stuck in these thoughts. You feel like you're um, that going through that phase. So expansion is coming through Sagittarius right now. Now, this don't mean, see, this ain't pseudo magic. So this ain't, oh, you can change your life overnight. No, Sagittarius likes to bring a little bit of experience and expand it and shit like that. So you got to experience yourself getting out of that. You get what I'm saying? You got to experience yourself getting out of that mentality. AKA when you speak and how you speak and shit like that, or how you think, is that, does that look like the better version of what it was before, or no? If it don't look like it, you're not getting out of them mentalities. If it looks like it and shit like that, you're getting out of the mentality that you're doing it. Now on a percentage level, due to you may having a job, you may having responsibilities, kids and things of that nature, you might not even find a time to actually, feel totally free in this and things. And this is when other things can play into play. Like I said, where your emotions play into play and stuff like that. So, you know, you want to be careful with that. Remember that. But Mercury is in Sagittarius, so that's what it's bringing. Us acting towards it. Actually, and especially after when it went direct, right? Mercury went direct. It's no more retrograde. So what does direct mean? You gotta direct it and shit like that. That would be the actual esoteric version of you doing it. You gotta direct where it go and shit like that. If you're not sitting back directing the flow of where it go, and shit, lost, lost and hear it all. Okay, okay, okay. Now, Mercury is also in conjunct with Jupiter. So Jupiter's still retrograde in Cancer. So we might misunderstand how to think about past situations dealing with home, family, in our comfort zone. We might not know how to mentally feel comfortable with our family situations right now, with our home situations right now. We might not know how to what to mentally what is the way to think about it, and shit like that. So it'll put you in a situation where you either gotta know better, do better, aka hop into the Jupiter energy without the having the optimism of knowing or how to think about it and knowing if it's right or knowing if you have the right logic behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna actually free you and shit. But I would say go for that because Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and Mercury is in Sagittarius. So either one can help either side. You communicating, you hop it in your more expanded idea and shit like that. That could bring you out of the home and shit like that. You could be in the home, but you still can be feeling free mentally, turning on that music, turning on that, starting on that drawing, starting on that idea that is more of a representation of what you want to do. But the thing is, the process of getting into that, before you get into that, it ain't gonna look like the right thing to do. It ain't gonna look like that. Should I go to sleep? That's what you're gonna. Sometimes you're gonna feel like, should I go to sleep? You might feel like that. I might should just sleep on it, type of shit. That would be playing more into the Jupiter side, risking getting too comfortable with the experience at hand. Remember, Jupiter is retrograde, so that may be a default. All right, put you on, put you on. All right. Uh, we did that. 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 Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so we got The sun, right? So this is one of the main chakras. Obviously, we talk about this one all the time. Y'all worship the sun too much, and the sun is the most. The sun is one of the planets that'll fool you the most. You know what I'm saying? So you could be blinded by the sun and shit like that. It could bring a lot of blindness, or it could bring conscious awareness. I did like that. Obviously, in the spring, summer, it will bring more of that energy. In the fall, winter, it bring kind of more internal lightness. We actually experience more distance from that. You know what I'm saying, from the sun physically. So these is like tools you can utilize to like understand mental mathematics. All right, but yeah, Sun is squaring Neptune. So we talked about Neptune. Not going to break Neptune down, which that dreams, imagination, again, whatever. Boom. Now it's squaring. So what's squaring? That's a 90-degree angle. So that would mean we would be learning about something, and what we're learning about is how to see something with our imaginations. So before I even get into it, learning to see something about how we imagine something. Okay, but let's get more into the depth of it. Sun is in Capricorn right now. So it's going to be filtered through business structure, Capricorn like things, hard or harsh reality, seeing a harsh reality. Neptune is in your personal beliefs again. So seeing a harsh reality, your personal beliefs, boom, that's quickly said, but let's see what I wrote here. So we're learning to be responsible of what you believe personally. Who? Who? You got to be responsible for what you believe personally. That's that's just well said right there. That just sums it up. You got to learn to be responsible for what you believe personally. Okay? You responsible. All right? Now, dealing with your beliefs, like I said, that's going to be the more emotional things that you feel on a deeper internal level and shit like that. Dealing with your imaginations, your dreams, your delusions and shit like that, your personal delusions. I already said that. You learning to deal with that. So it can be the boss of you, or you can be the boss of it. All right. Sun conjunct Mars, seen for your status, your passions. You're gonna be seen for your anger right now. So everybody can. We're gonna see if you frustrated right now. We're gonna see if you got passion right now. We're gonna see if you got motivation right now. We're gonna see if you serious about it. Is you serious about it or not? Is you expressive about your passions, or you let that passion simmer within inside of you, and that ain't necessarily positive. That can turn into internal frustration and things. But and that could lead to other things, depression, not feeling adequate. All of that type of stuff. All right, we don't. All right, that's and then Sun conjunct Venus too. So you should be able to see consciously of what you're appreciating right now and what you disappreciating. And a lot of us just on GP because of colonization and stuff. We all kind of forced to appreciate something that is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and well, it may be wrong for y'all. It may be wrong for another person. What's right for another person ain't right for another person. So you may become more conscious of that, and that can make you a lot more frustrated of the circumstance that you in, or it can make you aware of it, and so you start to see like, man, I don't appreciate this. I don't appreciate that. And the first step is admitting, right? First step is admitting. Okay. That's the first step. Last but not least, moon. We're gonna close with the moon. The moon got a lot going on. The moon is in Pisces right now and shit like that. So, you know, we all are in a world of our own beliefs and reacting to our belief system. That's Pisces. Our dreams, our imaginations, what we believe about our dreams, what we believe that we should have, and what we believe about our and self doubts and shit like that. You know, and because it's that mutable water, so it's adaptable to our own feelings and others' feelings. So, you know, that's why it's also fantasies because, you know, we may feel somebody may be getting away with something and shit like that that we ain't and shit like that. And we may feel that this person is, you know, that may create a delusion up in and of itself. Like that may be create a position that you might not even supposed to be in mentally, you know, type shit. But, you know, yeah, Moon sextile Pluto. So we're gonna be transforming our beliefs right now. Okay. Moon conjunct Neptune. This is our belief right now. We feel our beliefs right now. We feel our imaginations right now more than ever. We feel if we feel we was in delusions and we was doing shit the wrong way and shit like that, we feel that shit more than ever. We feel like we was wasting time. We feel that shit more than ever. You know what I'm saying? If we feel in our creativity right now or in our imagination, we feel that shit a little bit more potent. You get what I'm saying? So it's about being in a space. You know, it's about being in a location where you want to be. It ain't necessarily like if you want to be in a space where the package come and shit like that. That's where it need to be. You need to be in a space where the package come. You know, if you want to feel in your more creativity, you be in that space by yourself. The the alignments is gonna help you boost that shit. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So, but this the curse though. Also, the negative alignments too that be in that space too is gonna hit you as well. You get what I'm saying? So if it's not your day and shit, you gonna feel like it's not your day. It's gonna you feel like something opposing you. You know, you may play out these alignments. But yeah, the moon is conjunct Neptune and Saturn right now. So, you know, we feeling our we're building on our dreams and our, you know, our self internal belief system right now. We're feeling that more than ever. Okay. Moon is also trine Jupiter retrograde. So we can feel comfortable with old and outdated shit and experiences. Don't get rocked to sleep by nobody. The moon sextile Uranus, we have the opportunity to change how we feel about shit. Okay, we got to change how we feel. Change how we feel. And like I said, change or let me just state that we got an opportunity for to see others not changing how they feel. Because like I said, Uranus is in Taurus, Gemini. So that's kind of like still others' energy. It ain't necessarily Taurus is a little bit more fixated, but it's still ruled by Venus, so it's still got that relatability between you and another individual and shit like that. And Gemini is just Gemini. Gemini be everywhere. Just look at a Gemini and shit like that. They be in others. They be in others. They be in others' way of thinking. Others, you know, and this is what they build their sense. There's nothing wrong with it, but this is where they built their sense of community. This is where they built their sense of individuality. You know what I'm saying? This is why they built their sense of character and shit like that. But sometimes they just need. Sometimes they may need to delve a little bit more into what they individually feel. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. And what is actually right type shit. Because a Gemini be your friend to the end. They'll fight with you whether you wrong or right, depending on what you got behind it as a quality of something that they look like they need or some shit like that. But they opposite Sagittarius. So a lot of times Geminis don't have the moral That's not that their thing is not to fight for the moral thing. You know what I'm saying? It's more so to fight for uh, what is makes the most sense. You know what I'm saying? And it can make most sense for you to run away with your homie after y'all robbed the bank instead of, admitting that he did it type shit, So that's kind of the energy that they be in more. But for the most part, we got the gift to um, get comfortable with our past belief systems and shit like that, or with others' past belief systems, and they knowledge and they experiences and shit like that. Moon is in Pisces, getting comfortable with a belief system that we um, need to learn about and experience through Jupiter and Cancer, and that's getting too comfortable with something. Getting comfortable with an old, outdated way of, you know, others way of wisdom and shit like that. Others way of rock you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So don't get rocked to sleep. Don't go to sleep, little baby. Don't go to sleep. Okay. Moon square Mercury too here. I see. So we can utilize our communication right now to make our emotions a little bit more, or enlighten our emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because communication is says Sagittarius right now. So anytime you communicate, you know, it's gonna bring you in a position where you can enlighten your emotions and shit like that. But you may need to, you may go through a learning process to do that. Like I said, it may cause a little sacrifice or some shit like that. You may have to sacrifice how you feeling at the moment and just being like, fuck it, let me just go ahead and hop into that energy. AKA, that's when you hop into Mercury and Sagittarius, communicate, boom. Now you in Sagittarius energy. You're more optimism. You're more expressive, fiery energy. Whether when you was at just doing what you was doing and shit like that, or not having your thoughts and shit like that, you was just in your feelings and your belief system. Okay, and then Moon square Venus, and Venus is in Capricorn. Okay, that's probably because Moon about to go into Aries. But I would say this is because I'm freestyling these last ones and shit too, because I didn't write them all down, but I started on the right foot. But yeah. So it looks like a sextile right now for me. But so I'm gonna just go with that. But if we about to square once the moon go into Aries, now what we may be feeling is this new this being in the beliefs of not wanting to be frustrated. That's why we're feeling that new passion to do something about it emotionally, aka feeling we need to feel in a new space. We need to feel like we're going forward and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But be careful too, because Saturn is still there, so you're still gonna have to make sacrifices as well through learning if you appreciate that belief or not, or if you appreciate um, um, that energy by the sacrifice. And the sacrifice would be, like I said, you want to do something, you may lose sleep or something. You want to do something, you may lose time with, you know, specifically here and shit like that. You may lose your sense of feeling like if it's organized right. You may not feel like if it's organized right. But for the most part, it's all about your alchemical makeup and whatever you need. And that's when we get more deeper into, do you need a little bit more earth? Is it too emotional in your household? You may need to hop into more earth qualities. Then you can look at, okay, what planets are on earth right now? You know what I'm saying? What can I utilize? You can utilize, you know, some of these if you're smart enough. I wouldn't say just do it like that, because it's not that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's not that simple. Everything has to come from true inspiration, true purpose. If it ain't from that space, then shit like that, you just gonna be trying to do stuff and thinking like thinking it's a mathematical equation to becoming something that ain't even real. Like say people like try to use astrology towards money or something like that. It don't work like that. Money got something to do with whole something different. You know what I'm saying? Money got something to do with you. Money got something to do with somebody coming over here and crashing out and being the hardest crash out, being a way harder crash out than you've seen and shit like that, and control and creating a government and law and shit like that. That ain't got shit to do with nothing. You know, now what do got something to do with money is your talent. So if you in a space mentally, or if you in a space, ideally to perform your talent and shit like that. Okay, you're not too much in your emotion about this. You're not, so you more free and internally and more inspired to be in your position. Then you can, operate from that space. Okay, then that could attract money. It could attract customers. It could attract likeness. It could attract, that type of shit. So that's where astrology got something to do with money. But you don't never utilize astrology for money. You know what I'm saying? You don't never do that. You don't never utilize it don't work. It don't work like that. Money is control. All right. But yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's all of the alignments and shit like that. So for the most part, right now, the moon in Pisces and shit like that, we're dealing with a lot of things about our personal belief and our personal belief systems. And right now, so right now, while the moon is in Pisces, get your motherfucking personal belief system together. Get your belief system together, because tomorrow, you're gonna be really feeling, your insecurities, or if you got more, if you gonna feel that motivation factor even more, because the moon about to go into Aries and shit for the next 3 days. So if you're not feeling if you soaking in that water of Pisces so much, when the time come for you to, feel like, man, I feel like I'm in a new space and shit like that, due to you matching the energies above, so below, as within, so without. When Aries come and shit like that, you will be along with the energies, and you may attract more circumstances and situations, more thoughts and feelings that may be a match to, you feeling like this new person. Boom, enough adrenaline, repetition, and shit like that, and energy in that space, and you only can create more of that. So you always align with the creator and shit. You're not running behind, and that's how what we do when we want to fucking break down the astrology, the sky, and the live. And I appreciate everybody for taking their time out today to come and observe the friendly sky with me and things. So now you know what's going on the mind and shit like that. Now you see the more, you're more internally aware about what's going on internally, right? So the sky is a reflection of, the sky is where we come from, but for the most part, it play in reverse with the body. We come from the internal yin, but on the external, it play like we come from the higher densities down to form. You get what I'm saying? So we all doing some type of morphin type shit. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Shout out to Drakeo and his bitch. And yeah, too, we gonna set up that meeting and shit like that, Drakeo. So make sure y'all get ready for the calls and shit. If you want to call, break down on your chart, hit me, direct message me, or you can go to my website, cito.world/store, book there. And yeah, we're going to be giving out readings and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. So get y'all ass in the game. All right? And I'm Kale Cito, the Spirit Coach, getting you in shape and form for the age of Aquarius.